Hello and welcome to the session for Indian Polity for UPSC Civil Services. So in this lecture we are going to start with Indian Polity, that is your GS paper 2 syllabus for Indian Polity. Now in these classes we will cover both prelims as well as mains. The entire syllabus of these prelims and mains will be covered in these classes. Okay, so we are going to start with Indian Polity. So, before we start, what do you mean or what do you understand by the word polity? Before going to start with Indian polity, we will first understand what is the meaning of the word polity. Now, the word polity related to the organization, that organization which governs the people. It means how people are governed. This is the subject matter of polity. It means that, for example, suppose certain number of people are there, how those people decide to govern their own self. It is democratic means or it is monarchy or any other means. So how the society is organized in certain way so that it can govern its own self. This is the subject matter for polity. Now if we if we understand or we analyze the root of the word polity, it means that where the word polity originated from. So it has its root in the ancient Greek time. Okay, so ancient Greek time. Now why we are referring to ancient Greek time? Because in this time there was a term called polis, polis. Now this term was frequently used in the ancient Greek. Now this polis word is the root for the word polity. That's why we are studying this ancient Greek time. Now what is the meaning of this polis? The meaning is city states. Now again new words have come, that what is the meaning of city states. Now you must be knowing the word of city. City, just like we have so many cities in India. Then what is the meaning of state? Just like we have Indian state, the state of USA, state of Russia, China, Japan. So this state, the word state does not mean the state like Rajasthan, Bihar, UP. When we say state of Rajasthan, so the word state in the sentence state of Rajasthan is not same as the word Indian state. Okay, the state in the word Indian state is different from the word state of Rajasthan or state of Maharashtra. That state is different, and in the word state in Indian state is different. So what is the meaning of city state? It means the entire country was in the form of a city. The entire country was in the form of a city. That's why it was called a city state. Now we are having nation state. What we are having? We are having nation states. Now what do you mean by nation states again? So the basic difference is nation is bigger than city. City is a part of nation. Nation is a bigger concept. It's like nation, we have India, we have Japan, China, Pakistan, and any other country. So now we are having nation states. So it is a bigger concept. So at those time the word polis was used to denote city states. So this word polis is the originator of the word polity. It means polity has its roots in the word polis. Okay, but what is the actual meaning? We have already discussed the definition, that how a society or number of people are organized so that they can govern their own self. This is the subject matter of polity. Now if people want to govern, okay, if people want to govern their own self, now how they can do so? How they can do so? There are so many ways in which they can do so. For example, suppose if there are only 20 people, each and every people can participate in the matter of governance, isn't it? Because number is so less. number is so small that those 20 people can participate in the matter of governance. But let's say the number is not 20, the number is not 20, instead the number is, let's say, 20 crores. Now those 20 crores cannot participate at the same time in the matter of governance. So when the number of people increases, the complexity related to governance increases. So it means there has to other ways so that people can govern their own self. So when there were only 20 people, the people were directly participating, isn't it? But now the number has increased to, let's say, 20 crore. Now they cannot directly participate. So there are other ways. One of them is representative. What do you mean by representative? In representative, what happens that people do not directly participate in the governance. Instead, they elect certain people to represent themselves. It means, let's say 20 crores are there. Let's say we divide these 20 crores in the group of 1 crore each. Okay, in 1 crore. So there are 20 groups. There are 20 groups. So we have decided this 20 crores into 1 crore of 20 groups. Now the group of 1 crore, it will send, let's say, 10 representative. 10 representative to represent these 1 crore people. Then another group or the second group will again send their representative, their other 10 representative, then another 10, then another 10. So in this way, all these 20 groups, they will send their own representative to govern the entire population of 20 crore. So this is another way. So this is the subject matter of polity, that how people are governed. Okay, but we have discussed that how people can do so, but there has to be certain rules now. There has to be certain rules, the laws, the regulations, isn't it? So certain rules and regulation has to be there. So how these rules or regulation are made, where are these rules are mentioned, how these rules are implemented, this is the another subject matter, isn't it? So where these rules and laws and regulation are mentioned, it is called constitution. It is called an constitution. So we also need to understand the constitution. That's why your syllabus mentioned that so many topics of Indian constitution, because we want to study Indian polity, and to understand polity we need to understand the constitution. So to understand polity we need to understand constitution. That's why we are discussing so many things, so that we can come to this conclusion that why we are studying the constitution. So to understand polity we need to understand the constitution. So by this we are going to start with constitution. Okay, so what is a constitution? What is a constitution? The constitution is a fundamental law of the land. Constitution is a fundamental law. What do you mean by fundamental? It means it is the basis of each and every law of the country. Okay, whatever is the law. For example, we have certain moral values in society, isn't it? We have certain religious rituals. We have so many laws. For example, we have IPC, Indian Penal Code, CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code. We have labor laws, isn't it? We have code of wages. So many laws are there in India. So many laws, but all the laws are based on the constitution. So this is the meaning of fundamental. Means each and every law in the country should be based on the constitution. So this is the one definition. Another is supreme. Constitution is fundamental as well as supreme. So what do you mean by supreme? See, fundamental is basis. It means all the laws are based on constitution. Supreme means that whenever you are making any law or any rules or regulation ritual which is already there in society, it cannot breach or violate or cross the constitution. Okay, it cannot violate the constitution. Any law cannot violate the constitution. This is the meaning of supreme law. Means constitution will prevail. Let's say there is a certain ritual mentioned in the code of religions. Okay, certain rituals are there in a religion. Now there are certain provision which are mentioned in the constitution, but when we see, when we are practicing the ritual, it is in the conflict of the constitution. So it comes in the conflict of the constitution. So what would happen? Which provision would prevail? The provision of the constitution or the provision of the religion or any other moral values or some society, any cultural ritual, anything? Which of the ritual will prevail? So the law of the constitution will prevail, the provision of the constitution will prevail. This is the meaning of supreme. So this is the definition for constitution. Okay, so what is the purpose of the constitution? What is the purpose? It is a document of people's faith and aspiration. The purpose should be to fulfill all desires, because we are making the constitution for what? To satisfy our needs, to fulfill our needs. This is the purpose of constitution. And what to speak of constitution, even any activity in our life, the purpose is to satisfy our needs and our aspiration. So this is the purpose, the function of constitution. See, these things we are discussing right now, these are very basic in nature. We are just discussing the overall things of the syllabus. Each and every keyword mentioned here is a separate topic in our syllabus. So we will discuss them in great detail in our future classes. Okay, right now it's just a kind of trailer or summary something. Okay, so what is the function of the constitution? So again, these are just factual things: expression of ideology and philosophy of nation state. So we have already studied the concept of nation state. We have already seen what does it mean. See, this is a concept related to your optional PSIR. So in that subject we can discuss it in great detail, because this single word state is a topic in your optional. Okay, so this is a single topic. So what do you mean by philosophy and ideology? Expression of ideology and philosophy. See, when we need to compare certain countries to understand this point. Let's say we are comparing India and China. Okay, now what is the philosophy of India and China? See, we are doing certain activity. Let's say we have relation with another countries. China is also having. For example, in Africa we are doing developmental work, China is also doing. But what is the difference? The difference is of philosophy and ideology. The developmental work that we are promoting in Africa is also benefiting Africa. See, but the developmental work that China is promoting is only benefiting China. This is the meaning of expression of ideology, because these values of coexistence, that we also want other countries to grow, these values are mentioned, or these values are part of our philosophy. And to express this philosophy we have our constitution. Okay, next point is expression of fundamental laws and principles of the nation. So again, we have already seen this, that what do we mean by fundamental laws and principles? Framework for the organization of government. What do you mean by organization of the government? See, we have already seen that people can govern themselves in so many ways. Okay, they can directly participate in the process, or they can elect someone else, isn't it? Or there can be a king, a monarch, or certain group of people which is called a aristocracy, or when it's come to a king, it is called a monarchy. Then in India we have democracy. So many ways are there in which people can govern themselves. So when we discuss organization of government, so you have elected the government, you have elected certain number of people, or let's say king is there, or certain group of people is there to rule over you, or any number of people. So how those people are organized, it means what person will perform what task, means whichever task is performed by whom, who will perform certain number of tasks and who will perform other tasks. This is the meaning of organization of government. For example, we have so many ministries. We have Ministry of Defense, we have Ministry for External Affairs, Finance, isn't it, Home Affairs. So we have so many ministries. So this is called organization of government. Now, okay, so the other point is powers and function of different organs of government. So what do we mean by different organs? Again, this is a separate topic in our syllabus, that is separation of powers. So right now we can discuss the basic thing. Let's see. Now we have elected the government, okay. So in government there are different organs. For example, we have parliament, which is called legislature. In state we have so many legislatures, means in each and every state there are legislatures. So many legislature are there in state, okay. Then at central level we have parliament, so central legislature is there. So what is the task of the legislature? The task is to make laws, that is the task. But you have made the laws, you have made the policies, but who is going to implement, who is going to execute all those laws and rules and regulation? It is the executive part of the government, okay. This is the executive part, means your ministers, your bureaucracy, your IAS, IPS, other government officials, okay. That is your executive. Then comes your judiciary. To have We have already discussed the two parts, that is executive and other is legislature. The third one is judiciary. Now what is the purpose, what is the task? Now legislature has made the law, executive has implemented, but if the law made by the legislature has violated the constitution, has violated the rights of the citizen, who is going to come in the place? It is the judiciary. And let's say legislature has made the law, the policies, but the executive is not implementing those laws, who is going to come in the place? It is the judiciary. So judiciary, the purpose of judiciary is to adjudicate the law, okay. Means the purpose of justice is related to the judiciary. So these are tasks of different organs of government. Other one is type of government: federal, unitary, confederation. See, we will discuss these things in the federalism, that is a separate topic where we will discuss in detail all these topics. What do you mean by federal, unitary, confederation? Right now basic thing is that in federal there is at least two levels of government. So two levels of government are there at least. One is central, another one is provincial or state level. That is federal form of government, means two level of government are there. In unitary, only the central government is there, no state governments, no provincial governments. And confederation means what? Certain states are there, they come together, they give powers to the central, but not maximum powers, but only certain powers, a very small number of powers. That is called confederation, okay. Another is provision for amendment, means how constitution is amended, how the provisions for the constitution amended. So all these things. See, there can be so many other points. We are only discussing the basic things related to constitution. That what is the purpose, what is the function. So these are the functions. Now there is a point, constitution as a living document. So it has come as a question in your mains paper, GS paper 2, in your polity section. So we are discussing it right now. That what do you mean by constitution as a living document? See, living and there is non-living. Two types of beings are there: living being and non-living being. So see, we are the living being. So what do? We adapt to our external environment, isn't it? We change according to our environment. We change according to our needs or need of society or our own needs. So this is the living beings. They change or they adapt. So constitution is also a living document. How? Because it also changes according to the need of the society. But how the constitution change? It is changed by the people who are part of the government. And how they are part of government? It is us who has elected them. So the government, through the procedure of amendment, changes the constitution or adapt the constitution for the changing need of the society. So this is the crux of this point. Okay, that constitution as a living document. Now we have already seen that why do we need to amend the constitution? Because the society is changing. For example, we have created this constitution in, let's say, last 70 years back, but in those 70-80 years so many things have changed. The society has changed significantly. So constitution has to change, because say you have made something and it cannot be suitable for upcoming generations, because society is continuously changing. So constitution also helps us. Constitution has also to change, isn't it? So that's why we need to amend the constitution. So this is just a theory part. You can just make a note of it so that you can write something in your mains exam. Because so many examples are there, that 42nd amendment was there. See, all these things we will discuss in great detail, because each and everything is a separate topic. Again I am saying is again and again. So 42nd amendment, certain provision was added, isn't it? Similarly, the Supreme Court has given so many judgment. Those judgment are also related to the interpretation of the constitution. So in this way the constitution has also changed. So many examples are there. Just like right to education, it was added in your right to life and personal liberty, that is article 21. So the subsection was added 21A. So that right to education is a fundamental right. In 1947 this right was not available as a fundamental right. In 1950, when constitution was adopted, is not there as a fundamental right, but in future years it was added as a fundamental right. 86th amendment was there. Similarly, article 21 was further expanded to include right to protection of life and personal liberty. So these are only example. Like so many example are there. You can discuss, you can study them, or you can have a look on them, so that you can have content for your mains. Now another topic is constitutionalism. We will discuss it in other classes.